ESPN college football commentator and analyst extraordinaire, the one and only Paul Finebaum. How you doing, buddy? How's everything?
Stephen A., I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's my pleasure. My first question to you would be, what do you make of the latest Urban Meyer situation?
Stephen A., I wish I could tell you that I'm surprised by anything Urban Meyer has done, but I'm not. This is who Urban Meyer is. He has lived a life of great success and multiple apologies. And each apology I've heard from him is lamer than the previous. We've been through this countless times, and I think Shad Khan and the Jaguars are wasting their time. I don't think he can coach in the NFL. I don't think he really should coach in the NFL. And I think the sooner this disaster ends, the better for the fans of Jacksonville.
Stay right there with me for a second, Paul. Why do you not believe he can coach in the NFL specifically?
I haven't seen much indication of that, and I realize Thursday night's game was close and they nearly won, but it's not so much on the field that concerns me, Stephen A. I think Urban Meyer is one of the best college football coaches I've ever seen, and you can take those skills to the NFL. I don't think he can I don't think he can relate. I said control, but I meant relate to his players. I think behind his back, they are likely laughing at him right now, laughing at his ridiculous apologies and explanations. I don't think his style is perfect for the NFL. I think he's also one of these grinders where every loss eats on him more. And Stephen A., you understand the NFL. You are going to lose, whether you're Bill Belichick, Bruce Arians, or Urban Meyer, and you have to be able to deal with it. You have to know there's another day. Urban Meyer is not that type of coach, and that's why I thought it was a bad decision for him to go there. And I'm not saying that what we've seen in 4 games is indicative of the future, but it's the off-the-field issues that concern me more than what I'm seeing on the field.
Let's move on, because I saw the Georgia Bulldogs, the number 2 ranked team in the nation, go up against Arkansas a week after Arkansas did their thing at Jerry World, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, against Texas A&M. I'm looking at Arkansas right now, and I was saying, excuse me, this should be a really, really good game against Georgia, and Georgia rolled over them 37-0. Okay. Do you see any situation where we will not see Alabama and Georgia playing for the national championship?
No, I don't. Stephen A., I'll spare you all the qualifiers, but right now, I mean, pencil them in. The only problem that Alabama and Georgia have the rest of the way is each other. They're going to see each other in Atlanta at the SEC championship game. And you know what? It really won't matter. It'll be a great game. Can't wait to go. Hope you'll come down and walk on the sidelines with me. But ultimately, one team will win, one will lose, and they'll likely meet again a couple weeks later in the national championship game. They are that good right now. I can't find. I mean, you could put me. You could torture me for the next 5 hours, and I'm not sure I could give you the number 3 team in the country. There's nobody in the same league as those two.
And I agree with you, particularly in the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Alabama is just a complete package. You know how I feel about Alabama. But when it comes to Georgia, I don't feel as much about their offense as I do about that elite defense that they have. Am I wrong for feeling that way?
You are not wrong. And one thing about their offense, their starting quarterback has missed half the season so far, J.T. Daniels. They really don't need him against the teams they're playing in. And I have respect for Arkansas, but they're not an offensive juggernaut. And neither is anybody else they've played so far this year. And they really won't see, the first time they'll see a big-time offense will probably be against Florida. They have a game against Auburn this weekend. They have a good offense, not great. They'll see Kentucky the next week. More of a defensive team. Florida has a big-time offense, although I don't think anybody can score on them. I mean, this defense is elite, Stephen A. It's one of the best I've seen in recent years in college football.
I've got to move on to something else that's near and dear to my heart, because Nick Saban is not the only coach I love. I love my man Dabo Swinney. Clemson barely escaped a loss against unranked Boston College. What the hell is going on with the Clemson Tigers? What has happened to them right now?
Yeah, well, listen, you're talking to me now. You're not talking to your good friend on Friday, Tim Tebow. I heard you guys the other day. I heard you laughing at me and making fun that I said the dynasty's over. I really believe it is, Stephen A. The trajectory of this program is abysmal, and it's not because of the Boston College game. I just think Dabo Swinney needs a reboot, and he needs it offensively. He has no offense. That team has no offensive line. That doesn't mean he can't come back, but he's not coming back immediately. If you compare Clemson with Alabama right now, they're not on the same planet. And these were two teams that were in the championship game 3 years ago and have been in the playoffs every other year. So I think Dabo is a good coach. He needs to figure this thing out, but it's not going to be easy.
I'm going to transition to the Pac-12 because I remember I thought a lot about Oregon when they won over Ohio State, and then the next thing you know, they lose to Stanford. Does this mean that the Pac-12 is out of the playoffs?
I think so. Now, a lot of things can happen, and that was not a cataclysmic loss for Oregon. It was at Stanford. It was in overtime, and the one thing Oregon has is in their pocket is that win against Ohio State. So what they need, Stephen A., and here we go, talking college football playoff calculus, they need Ohio State to run the table. They need Ohio State 12-1 getting ready to go in the playoffs with a Big Ten championship. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
One last question. Who's your leading candidate for the Heisman right now? There was supposed to be Matt Corral, and then we saw what Alabama did to him last week.
Yeah, and I think he's a great quarterback, but again, he's playing against elite defenses with a pedestrian offense that was made look that way by Alabama. I think it's Bryce Young at the moment. It could still change. Ritter at Cincinnati is really good. By the way, I've never seen in 5 weeks the Heisman favorite going into the season and Spencer Rattler not only disappear, Stephen A., he's being booed by his own fans. I've covered college football 40 years. This is a first.
I trust you on that one. I noticed that myself. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks so much for being a part of Stephen A's World today. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.